Everyone's got a different taste when it comes to video games, and there's nothing wrong with it, but there's one specific title which stuck out over the years, and we definitely need to talk about Assassin's Creed Black Flag and why it needs a comeback. I remember when this game came out and it was kinda like something new. Ubisoft really tried something new. We all come from the first Assassin's Creed, like the Ezio collection and stuff. There was Assassin's Creed 3 as well, which I wasn't kinda into. It was a good game, don't get me wrong, but like the trap system and the woods and climbing trees and whatever, it didn't have the real vibe. But then Black Flag hit the market, and it was just crazy. I was totally into it. I remember it very well. It came out, and I bought it for the PlayStation 4, and I was stunned by the graphics. It was so intense with the water and your ship and your character, the gameplay, the story. There was no big city or anything. Well, not from the beginning, but it kind of had a different vibe. It didn't like, it wasn't truly an Assassin's Creed, what you would expect after the first two, for sure. They really tried something new, but I think they nailed it. They really focused on the story and the environment. It was stunning. The gameplay was fantastic. The graphics were, I mean, it's a Ubisoft game. They always are like top notch with their graphics setting. This is absolutely cool. But now it's like a decade later, and I mean, this game was so good that we really should consider like having this game like a reboot, like not a reboot, but like a remastered or remake version. That would be so cool. During that time, we didn't have really like pirate games, open world. Like there were some, but I honestly have to be honest, I cannot remember one. So, well, at least not for consoles. On PlayStation 4, I believe. I don't know, I can't remember. But what I remember is Assassin's Creed Black Flag, obviously. But it was so intense, and they really nailed it. They got the time right. I mean, we had those movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff, which are a little bit older, but people were already into like pirate world, and now we finally got like a real cool game, and in combination with the Assassin's Creed formula, absolutely mind-blowing during that time. And now around like 10 years later, I'm still talking about this game, and of course with the newer machines like Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 or even PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm still talking about this game because it was a AAA title which truly has the trigger to replay this game years later. The story about Edward Kenway, great deal, really cool story. There are not a lot of AAA games out there which truly have a replay value. If I see, like, there are some, like the Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Red Dead Redemption, especially Red Dead Redemption 2, or Cyberpunk 2077, also a game which I play over and over and over. It really gets you every time. And the same with Assassin's Creed, but like I said, now with the new consoles and like OLED TV and bigger and better and whatever, you kind of want to dive into those games with like an update when you come from a game like, let's say, Cyberpunk. Of course you cannot compare this, but you have those visuals and this fluid gameplay and performance mode. And then you jump to an older game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag in that case. You kind of expect something like better, to be honest. So it would be really great if they release a patch for this game, especially for gamers like me who like to replay their games. I even would pay for it. I'm like, let's say like 10 euros or whatever for a remaster patch, or 20 euros, dollars, whatever your currency is. But there is this replay value, and it sticks out. I'm not an engine expert, game designer, whatever this kind of job is, but I hope they can figure it out. I mean, they have the base game. I don't know if they need to re-render it or just unlock the frame rate, or I don't know, in some kind of way make it a little bit prettier. But that would definitely be a smart way to hook some old gamers like me. I'm 36. I consider myself as an older gamer now. I've been in gaming for like, I don't know, since I was 14 or whatever. But they really would get me, like I mentioned earlier, they really would. And then there's this Desmond Miles thing, which I wanted to mention as well. I keep reading some posts here and there, if it's Reddit or YouTube or wherever, that with the death of Desmond Miles, the game series stopped. I keep reading that every once in a while. But I want to be honest here as well, I don't think so. I couldn't care less about Desmond Miles. Probably well written and stuff, but the world outside the Animus actually does not interest me. I mean, I just want to dive into the world, like the Black Flag pirate world. I don't need to walk around in that building, hack a computer, or do this, and in the end Desmond Miles died. I actually didn't care. I didn't have this connection to Desmond Miles in that kind of way. I always have a connection with the protagonist of the in Animus game mode, whatever. This is what really sticks out for me. I never liked those kind of okay, exit the Animus and explore this and go there and do this. I always went back to the machine as soon as possible. Of course, the ending was good. He died, and it was crazy, and everything was kind of strange and unnatural. Which kind of the game lives from this kind of unnatural elements as well, and I truly love them, like those alien-like stuff. But Desmond Miles, I don't know what you think. I mean, judge me, it's fine, I can live with that. But back to Ubisoft and what they actually did in the past 10 years. I don't know how long Skull and Bones was in development. I keep hearing numbers like 7 years, 10 years, doesn't matter, I don't care how long it's been in development, and now it finally came out, and I don't know if a lot of people actually play this game. I played a little bit. It was for free. I think it was a beta version or whatever. Of course, it's not. I cannot judge this game on a beta early test or whatever. But Skull and Bones, I think with like all their energy and stuff, they could have made a Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, remastered, whatever, easily. But instead, they put a lot of effort in this game, and I don't know how you feel about Skull and Bones if you have ever played it. Their triple, quadro, whatever A game that it's supposed to be, but I think what others did earlier was a little bit smarter. There is Sea of Thieves, which is actually kind of cool. I'm not really into this game as well, but I think Sea of Thieves hits the sweet spot, and the sweet spot for like other players who like to play like a pirate game and in co-op mode and stuff. But then Ubisoft decided like, oh, let's do Skull and Bones. I don't want to judge them too hard for this, but I think it just took too long. I mean, we've been hearing about it like I mentioned earlier, like 7 years, 10 years, I don't know, that Skull and Bone, this big thing. And it came out and was obviously was a flop. And which is kind of sad for all those people who worked on this game, who maybe believed in this game, in this title. But the idea from Skull and Bones, I think it was born with Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and they had the opportunity to make Black Flag 2, or like I said, Black Flag Remastered by now. And this actually is something which I want to talk about too. Like, take a look at Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red, or The Witcher 3. Okay, Cyberpunk is a different story. It came out unfinished. A lot of people were not happy about it, and they maybe lost a lot of money because of that. But what they did is they fixed it, and now it's the past, and we have a really cool game with a replay value. We have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. They released patches. They constantly evolved the game for the last gen and this gen, and this is something about what I consider like customer care relation, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm wrong about the word. That leads to after sales as well, because people are like interested in this, and this is what I mentioned earlier with like, if they would release like a Black Flag remastered, remake, whatever, I probably would spend a little bit, at least a little bit for it. I would buy it if it's not too crazy expensive. And with too crazy, I mean like maybe 25 and more dollars, euros, doesn't matter. That would be too crazy. But this, what CD Projekt Red does is like they constantly serve the gamer. They don't just give up. They don't just say like, okay, we did this game, it was a good game, a lot of people bought it, and you know what, we're done. They still have like I don't know how big this department is, but they still have one or some people who work on the current game they already have. And this is so valuable, and that makes me like, if CD Projekt Red brings like a Witcher 4 in I don't know how many years, 10 maybe, 5, I don't know how long it takes to actually build a game like this, I'm going to buy it full price, no doubt. With Ubisoft titles, on the other hand, it's if I have the chance to play like a demo version, beta version, or whatever, I always do that. I always play their games, but I'm kind of careful now. I don't know, but Ubisoft is like, it's like a bad thing, a bad time for Ubisoft anyway. A lot of people talking about this company right now with like that Tencent is interested in buying bigger parts of Ubisoft, which I don't know are true or whatever. I don't have facts. I actually don't care anyway. But I think right now they focusing on different things, like maybe things like, okay, how can we get rid of our past a little bit? But they also could save some of their past with supporting older games which people are obviously still into, and just make them better and just improve them. It's not the people who work there, they don't have the opportunity. I'll bet there are a lot who would think like, okay, let's just dive into this older game, let's make it better for the gamer, and maybe we can generate some sales with it. It's a business, they run a business, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's a good thing that keeps a lot of people working. But they really need to like rethink their focus a little bit. Like, I mean, Assassin's Creed Red got pushed back till 2025. And that's probably for the best, because maybe they're just not done with the game, and we don't want unfinished games. But what we also would like, or what I would like, is a little bit of support for the gamer who still values their games. I bought Assassin's Creed again because there was a time I had the PlayStation 4, then I had the PlayStation 4 Pro. And then when PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series came out, I decided to go to a different ecosystem. I decided to go to Xbox Series X. That also meant that I had to buy some of my favorite titles again, and among those titles was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I paid it twice. And I didn't have a problem with it because I love this game. But now I've gotten to a point where I think like, okay, I love it so much, I just want a version which fits the time, if you know what I mean. But I generally think that developers, publishers or whatever, they should look at their older titles, what they have, and maybe build something around it. It doesn't have to be like crazy, it doesn't need to be like, okay, we make like everything new from scratch or whatever, but a little bit of improvement would hook me for sure, and would give the company itself a little bit of trust back, which they lost. That's the reason why I wait buying their new games. But I don't know what you think. I think I'm very interested in what you think. Do you agree with like, okay, a Black Flag needs a remaster and that would generate sales, or I don't know. What do you think? Just let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, like I always say in the end of the video, then it is the moment to do so. Otherwise, just leave a like. A comment in the section below is always the best. I really appreciate that. And have a great time gaming. See you next time.